welcome to another episode of Cold Fusion.
What is this?
Since 2023, the fast food chain Taco Bell introduced artificial intelligence at over 500 locations in the United States. The aim was to reduce mistakes and speed up orders. But in some cases, AI delivered just the opposite. Like this frustrated customer.
And what will you drink with that?
I want a large milk.
I mean, all you get is one meme like this, it's not the end of the world. I mean, compared to all the mistakes that
McDonald's drive.
Yo, I don't give a fuck. I could do 10 orders of Taco Bell, okay, at different locations, and I will get the sauces I asked for maybe twice out of 10 orders at best.
Drive-thrus also tried AI, but decided to scrap it because it was too unreliable. One person had bacon added to their ice cream in error, and another had hundreds of dollars worth of chicken nuggets mistakenly added to their order. As for Taco Bell, the fiasco has caused them to rethink their use of AI. Their chief technology officer, Dane Matthews, told the Wall Street Journal in regards to deploying the voice AI system, quote, "Sometimes it lets me down, but sometimes it really surprises me," end quote. And what he said is the very crux of consumer generative AI today. It works most of the time, but about a few % of the time, it just gets things wrong. But where does this all lead? A recent MIT report found that after surveying 150 business leaders and 350 employees, just 5% of integrated AI pilots are extracting millions in value, while the vast majority remain stuck with no measurable profit and loss impact. In other words, AI implementation fails in 95% of the cases.
Yeah, it's because
the
people are
market was
bullish about
spooked
it.
by these findings, and shares in Nvidia, the $4 trillion company whose chips power the AI boom, dropped by 3.5%, while Palantir fell by 9% off the back of the news.
For sure.
It all sounds pretty heavy, but this was just a reaction to the headline, because as you dig deeper into what was actually said in the report, the picture isn't as clear-cut as AI simply failing everywhere. A few episodes ago, I talked about the current crisis with new graduate jobs. A large part of that was the AI threat. It's true and happening in some entry-level jobs, especially in the creative fields. I did caveat in that episode that current AI systems still get a lot wrong, but will improve in the future. But today, let's explore that fact a bit more deeply. What if generative consumer AI continues to underperform in businesses for years to come? In this episode, we'll look at how AI is actually performing once put into the position of taking people's jobs. To summarize the sentiment of this episode, it's basically this. Consumer generative AI will revolutionize global productivity eventually, but as for now, it's possibly in a bubble.
This is half correct. It takes some time to get actual good use cases for them. I mean, chat, when you call CVS, you get AI, it's actually decent. Of course, you always ask for the fucking representative, but it's pretty decent. And I don't think a lot of people like answering the phone all day. Those jobs nobody wants those jobs, I don't think. Chat, people go, when I grow up, I want to be the guy who responds first when people call at CVS. Like, come on, bro. No.
You are watching Cold Fusion
They want
TV.
money.
So first thing, let's lay it out straight. AI has some legitimate use cases and works well in non-critical areas that don't require 100% precision. Robots, live translation, and even some prototype website builders like Lovable are some examples. But the sentiment is clear. Most people online find it annoying. But that aside, there's a fundamental problem with current generative AI.
Nope. You can't say that people don't like this and then quote public figures that they need that social currency of approval. These guys their life depends on what people think of their ideas. They're gonna say whatever the fuck people. Really, dude? Like, you can't say people think about this and then these guys are just puppets. Like, really?
Let me explain. You see, everything we call artificial intelligence today was built on the findings of a 2017 paper from Google. That paper provided a way for AI to focus on different parts of an input sequence simultaneously and determine the relevance of each word to every other word. This innovation, called a transformer neural network, allowed researchers, computer scientists, and later companies to change the world. But herein lies the fundamental problem. With this method of transformer neural networks, it turns out by determining the relevance of each word and predicting the next word, it just makes up stuff. Essentially, it doesn't know what it's saying. We call this problem hallucinations, and it has real-world consequences.
It's been getting better overall though, but yeah.
Picture this. You're a business that decided to replace its staff with AI to write up patient documents, fill in patient information, summarize meetings, or do some basic scheduling. But as time goes on, to your horror, you realize that the AI system makes up 10% of everything that it delivers. But the real problem is, you don't know what it's made up and you don't know what's accurate. So you or your staff manually have to go back and check everything. This ends up just being extra work for the remaining staff, and ultimately is a waste of time. It sounds stupid, but this is exactly what's happening. Now, the following are Reddit comments taken from those in the workforce who had to take the brunt of upper management thinking that blindly implementing AI was a good idea. Quote, "My company paid for some AI scheduling software a few months ago, thinking that it could free up the accounts team so that they could continue their hiring freeze in that department. Now the accounts team is having to do extra work making sure the program isn't messing everything
always gonna be bad people that min-max too much and get it wrong, but
up. Not to mention our production team that never had to worry about schedules is double/triple checking everything. They're finally scrapping it for some basic scheduling software. And same experience here. Products sold and demonstrated to be a lifesaver. Ultimately, the staff that used to do the work spend all their time making sure the AI doesn't screw up and help train it. Also, working in a medical/clinical setting, we really don't trust the new file sorting and labeling system. Names, date of birth, insurance data has to be perfect. AI is less than that. It fails at gathering proper demographic information and assigning relevant tasks. Sometimes it thinks the doctor is the patient, or doesn't know where the document was faxed from, etc. And yet another user states that AI was good at taking notes from Zoom meetings.
It's not that I'm defending it, is that you're always going to hear the things that went bad more than more that went correct. Take Tesla. Dude, take 1,000 vehicles, how many accidents you get in a year? Let's say it's 7 accidents, okay? You're going to hear 10 million times more, million% more about the one. Let's say Tesla was 1 out of 1,000, so 7x less. Nope. You're going to hear about that one so much more than all the other ones. And that creates some form of bias. One guy that does it wrong because their company has a shit fucking director says, oh, let's AI or scheduling, whatever. Okay, yeah, it makes sense. This is one user. It's anecdotal story evidence, one person, whatever, right? But it doesn't talk about all of you that are doing it right, that did it right. Like, still, again, skill issue, human error. You don't blame AI for skill issues.
But would make up 5 to 20% of the content, even when hand-fed the transcripts of the meeting. Those who looked over the AI-generated summary realized that some of what was written wasn't even said. All of these disasters make sense. LLMs predict the next word statistically, but they'll never tell you when it doesn't know the answer, or if it can't understand something. There's many such stories of company regrets after rushing into half-baked AI solutions. A report suggests that 55% of companies regret replacing people with AI. This bank, for example, who fired staff to install an AI chatbot that was so bad, they begged for their old humans back. And take the example of Klarna. 2 years ago, they implemented a hiring freeze and began to replace their human staff with AI. By 2024, their headcount had fallen from 3,800 to 2,000. But lo and behold, their customers wanted to speak to actual humans. Klarna said that its AI chatbots perform the work of 800 employees, but the company admits that their service quality and customer satisfaction have dropped, and they lament that human interaction is still needed. On replacing people with AI, the publication Fortune notes, quote, "Not only is it short-sighted, it's fundamentally bad business. The companies cutting people today in the name of AI will be the ones playing catch-up tomorrow. There's no doubt that AI is excellent at doing more with less. It speeds up processes, cuts down repetitive work, and buys back time. But AI on its own cannot create the next generation of products and services." End quote. So on Cold Fusion, we try to be thorough here. So it has to be said that all of these failures aren't the full story. There are indeed companies that are extremely successful.
Things like Klarna should be outlawed. They should the government should put the foot on the ground as soon as possible and just go, we outlaw this shit flat out. It's fucking absolutely abysmal. It's so predatory, it's a joke. I didn't see your message.
Now, even though the MIT paper said that 95% of companies who implemented generative AI failed in said implementation, The same MIT paper states,
Good one for
quote,
defense, woman.
some large companies, pilots, and younger startups are really excelling with generative AI. They mean startups led by 19 or 20-year-olds. They, quote, have seen revenues jump from 0 to 20 million in a year. It's because they pick one pain point, execute it well, and partner smartly with companies who use their tools,
Oy.
end quote. So how companies adopt AI is crucial. For example, purchasing AI tools from specialized vendors and building partnerships succeed 67% of the time, while internal builds succeed only 1/3 as often.
Guys, you could have dumbed this down back to fucking video games. Like, yes, AI, and it was needed for fucking video games. It was one of the best use cases that we have for AI. They had AI in video games, and at first, it was fucking dog shit. If you replace most of your game's interaction, oh, we need this guy to make the stories. We need this guy to drive the player. We need this guy to, like, yeah, it's gonna be fucking abysmal. It's gonna be fucking straight dog. But over the years, you say, okay, we're going to use it for this, use it for that, and overall, it's absolutely fantastic. Like, it is what it is.
This goes to show that you can't just slap AI everywhere and expect it to work.
People are going to try
needs
to
thought in its
max it out,
implementation,
and it's gonna suck.
and also depends on the specificity of the AI tools in question. But in the grand scheme of things, it's still early days for AI, and it'll be naive to think that it'll stay the same forever. All it would take is another groundbreaking paper, a new underlying neural network architecture, and everything could change again. This could mean another giant leap forward that none of us are expecting. But in the meantime, it's uncomfortable territory. So what happens?
But on AI, yo, you need to take your fingers off the keyboard and stop tapping. AI in video games is literally AI. The mechanism that makes a computer think how to go from this place to this place. If I'm blocked by a house, it has to think. That is literally AI. That's the basis. Level 1 AI. That's AI. That's artificial intelligence. It has to think. It has to.
The steam engine which sparked the Industrial Revolution of the late 1700s,
this chat's branded.
the internet is changing everything it touches.
Oh, this is my new thing.
And at the cutting edge of the revolution is Wall Street.
In the dotcom bubble during the mid-90s, everyone who simply put a .com at the end of their company name saw massive valuations because investors who didn't understand the technology saw them as the future. In reality, these companies had no solid way of making a profit or didn't even have a business plan. When the broader market realized that it was all a smokescreen, the sector crashed. Most companies went out of business, and only a handful made it out and are giants today. So let's compare that to the AI wave of today. The long-awaited release of ChatGPT 5 was a disappointment, and many users even thought the previous version was better, and this caused open
barrier of entry to make an AI model is a lot. Bro, it's not comparable. Making a website, making a social media, making a company, and making a reasoning model are completely different entry barriers. Come on, bro. You cannot compare this at all.
AI to scramble. In addition, the company was also caught blatantly fudging the performance numbers in some very strange graphs. Incremental rather than revolutionary was the tone. Soon, Meta would announce that it's downsizing.
Compare how many .coms survived. Compare how many .coms were overall. How many websites were out there people were actually opening up as a venture. Compare how many models are out there successful. Compare how many people are actually trying to make a reasoning model. There is not that many people that are trying to make a reasoning model. People just use the one that people have, and some people venture into the trend. It's not that many compared to how many are successful. Compared to the .com, the ones that survived, and the one that are told that went into a fucking .com overall. It's not even comparable.
Its AI division, and this comes amongst a growing chorus of analysts saying that AI is heading towards, if not, is already in a bubble. And next, we have the massive valuations and spending. NVIDIA H100s, the GPUs that power the artificial intelligence boom, are about $30,000 to $40,000 each. Google.
Let's say I'm going to tell you, okay, then this, guys, NVIDIA, GPUs are the future. We should all go into GPUs. How many of you guys are going to make a company that fucking makes GPUs? Fucking nobody. There is 0% chance that there's nobody across Twitch, not one viewer, that will actually make a company or try to make a company that will make a GPU. It's just not possible. And the barrier of entry is too high. It's insane. Well, it's a little bit the same if you compare the .com overall websites, people that make and go into these things and fucking reasoning models. It is not fucking comparable. There's so many degrees of it's just no bother.
There's 26,000 of them, and they've
Okay,
managed
how many of you guys have started a new model like GPT fucking 5.0 or whatever? How many of you guys are currently working on the next OpenAI? Fucking nobody!
to create AlphaFold, Gemini, VO3, and more.
Oh my god.
But Meta, on the other hand, has 600,000 NVIDIA H100s. And while they do have the open source Llama LLM, it isn't discovering new science like Google's AlphaFold for 23 times the compute. And to give you an idea of how extreme this is all getting, AI itself has caused a 4% increase in electricity use in the US.
I don't care.
Morgan Stanley states that data center investment will reach $3 trillion over the next 3 years in preparation for AI use. And of course, that's heavily fueled by debt. The belief is that AI will cut costs by 40%, and that should add $16 trillion to the S&P. But as we've just seen at the beginning of this episode, according to that MIT study, that could be very unrealistic. So this could be the future if AI doesn't improve massively soon. Number 1. Business
At first, investors are too eager to jump in. It's going to be very wasteful, a lot of waste, a lot of dog shit, a lot of trash, and then it goes to slowly towards profit. That's what a hype is. That's what a bubble is. What about it?
executives and business owners will get frustrated with hallucinations, useless solutions, bad code, and a very poor return on investment.
I don't get it.
Number 2.
Why is this guy hating so much?
A lot of the AI gurus like Sam Altman will have to admit that artificial general intelligence isn't going to be achieved by LLMs, and they're essentially a dead end. Number 3.
What?
The general populace begins to get sick of LLMs, and we're already seeing it. The absolute flood of AI slop, the hallucinations, AI agreeing with what users say, sometimes driving them insane. Number 4. In seeing this, the venture capital finally dries up, and LLMs become just too expensive to justify, unless there's a massive increase in efficiency.
The cost to run
unless they go to porn, is what it is. The reality is, once you get start getting actual use cases, and that's actually good, guys, you want to make fun of me? You can say the you want to. Porn is the most consumed thing on the internet across the entire internet. Everybody, most people, watch porn, consume porn. It is the most untapped market in the history of all markets, and I mean that. So many things can be innovated and done. Just think about the amount of games or the amount of experiences people can have with VR, whatever. The people would buy this shit out the wazoo. It is a multi-trillion-dollar business. It is, but because people shun against it, there's a lot of taboo around it. It is what it is. This shit actually can kind of get there, right? And there's probably a few good use cases that are gonna come in the future. That'll be the future of adult media consumption. It is what it is. It's $1 trillion.
OpenAI's data centers, all the pipes and guts and things that like keep AI running, is about $40 billion a year. Their revenues right now are only like 15 to 20 billion.
And finally, number 5. After a long winter, new implementations come around that truly live up to the hype promised by the first wave. So just like the dotcom bubble, there's going to be a few winners that rise from the ashes. But if or when it crashes, from here, we see the true artificial intelligence companies that last the distance.
That's good for society. You don't get to dictate what's good for society or not. People consume what they want to consume. The reality is people consume porn. It doesn't matter if you like it or not. Somebody will produce for people to consume, and that's just the end. That's the end of the story. People have tried over the centuries to say, "Oh, guys, don't do this." Somebody does it, everybody buys it, they win. You lose.
Finish off this episode. Let me end with this. I've talked about this many times in my older episodes, but take a look at this diagram. It's called the Gartner Hype Cycle, and it describes the typical progression of the infiltration of new technologies into society. So where do you think we are? The technology trigger? The peak of inflated expectations? The trough of disillusionment? The slope of enlightenment? Or the plateau of productivity? Feel free to comment down below. So where to from here? Well, Sam Altman and all the other AI leaders should focus their efforts on fixing the hallucinations. Once again, a different neural network architecture could be discovered, one that fixes hallucinations.
Yeah.
Or perhaps it could just be fixed manually. Either way, ushering in a new boom. But that all being said, and that's the funny thing about AI, the point is, with AI, nobody knows the future. So what do you guys think? Do you think we're in a bubble and a crash is imminent?
Do you agree that porn is inherently negative for society? No, I disagree. It's a pretty complicated, intricate topic that has a lot of components to it. Reality is that romance, sex, things like that, dude, people ruin their fucking lives, okay, to try to get pussy, when they could be going and focusing on actual progress. Okay, a lot of people get into this cycle of illusionment that they need to find love now and to generate love and find somebody, not knowing that you can't chase love. It just happens, right? And you just rub one out and you get back on the grind and get something productive. That in of itself will get you there faster than you chasing it down. So the reality is that how do you said that this would be in terms of flat out productivity? Yes, there's also social problems with it. I agree. In terms of just purely talk about productivity, I think it's a net positive. I would be interested to listen to an argument that it's not. I don't. Yeah.